Welcome to the show. Before we get started, make sure you go ahead and subscribe and like our episodes. Helps us get a better idea of the content you enjoy. We can always bring you more similar content to that. So, in this channel, we love language and all things writing, PR, communications, and marketing, etc. And so, we're going to be dropping a few episodes looking at different sayings and which are actually correct because what we find is as writers, we always strive to use them correctly. But in spoken language, people use them interchangeably. So let's look at this and dive right in. When should you use lay, L-A-Y, versus lie, L-I-E? Let's dive right in. One of the trickiest and most easily forgotten sort of lessons seems to be the difference between lay and lie, and when it's appropriate to use one over the other. We all went to school. I'm sure we've all sort of come across this. But as adults, we sort of use them interchangeably, even though we know that we're not using them correctly. So, when you're feeling tired, sometimes you just need to lay down. Or wait, is it lie down? Grammar can be confusing, but don't fret. You're not the only person who is fuzzy on the details of grade school English class. And one of the trickiest, and most easily forgotten lessons seems to be the difference between lay and lie, and when it's appropriate to use one over the other. To clarify in this context, lie doesn't mean to fib. We're talking exclusively about the placement, meaning of the verb. So lay and lie are mixed up more frequently than identical twins, as both words refer to people or objects positioned horizontally on a surface. But it's actually quite easy to tell the two words apart. Follow me here, at least in the present tense. So the past tense, however, is where things get tricky. Stay with me. Here are a few easy tips to help you differentiate between the two words. You're welcome. So, lay is a transitive verb. And by transitive, we're referring to objects that are being acted upon. I know this sounds like we're going back to English class, but hang in with me. We're gonna make this very simplified. So, if you're in the act of putting down a book before going to sleep, you'd say, I lay the book on the nightstand, because you're performing an action on the book, right? In the past tense, you would say, I laid the book on the nightstand. You wouldn't say, I lied the book on the nightstand. Does that make sense so far? Are you still with me? Okay, let's continue. Intransitive verbs such as lie refer to things acting of their own volition, such as humans. So here's a quick memory tip. Remember this. Only a person can lie on a bed and tell a lie. An appropriate use here would be, I lie on the grass in my yard. But this is where things get even more confusing, because the past tense of lie is lay. So, if you were sitting in the grass hours ago, you'd say, I lay in my yard. So, as for that sort of nap conundrum, it's, I'm going to lie down, but I lay down for a nap earlier. I hope that makes sense, guys. It's very confusing sometimes, but look at the simple examples I gave and try to use them in the proper instances. English is very fascinating. So, in the next few episodes, we want to cover some other very interesting vocabulary subjects, like why is it called a club sandwich? Or, what's the difference between compose and comprise? And when should you use which instead of that? So, keep it locked on the channel. Please head over to buymeacoffee.com/SamsonKing to make a donation and support the channel. We always appreciate that. Always like and subscribe, and thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you next time.